The government issuing funds for the vulnerable, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, there are emerging claims that deserving cases in the country have been left out. Ibrahim Karanja is speaking to the Deputy County Commissioner of Mombasa West on methods of identification of individuals and the implementation of the 8-point economic stimulus package as announced by the President. So good afternoon, Karanja. It's great to see you. Over to you.
Yes, Grace, indeed. Good afternoon. Indeed, it is that address by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Saturday where he outlined the 8-point economic stimulus program for the country at a time when the country desperately needs to get back to its feet and get back to its feet economically and bring everyone back to where they were. President Uhuru Kenyatta giving 8 points in which his government will be highlighting or taking efforts on to make sure everything goes back as usual. That is what forms the basis of what is happening in Mashinani, in the areas where we are. Today I am speaking to Mombasa West Deputy County Commissioner who will be telling us exactly how it is in Mombasa West, and yes, that issue of the people benefiting from that funds that are meant for the vulnerable. Remember, the entire Central Kenya region, according to Regional Commissioner Wilfred Nyagwanga, has at least 360,000 individuals who are benefiting from this. So from here in Mombasa West, how many? And with complaints from other parts of the country that this is actually not benefiting those intended to, how is Mombasa West ensuring that from here only the deserving cases are getting the front line in this particular case? I am speaking to the DCC very briefly. DCC, thank you so much for speaking to us on KTN News. Let's start with that very thorny issue where people are now complaining from different parts of the country that the funds for the vulnerable are actually going to not so deserving cases. How is it in Mombasa West, and what process or what procedure is used to identify the deserving cases? Start with your name, sir.
I am Jacob Ouma, Deputy County Commissioner, Mombasa West. And insofar as the monies for the vulnerable, the reliefs which are being given by the government is concerned, I can say very categorically that in Mombasa West, monies meant for those categories have reached those categories because we have 1,070 families which are benefiting directly from these cash transfers from the government, and their selection is a process which was done from the grassroots. We have the Nyumba Kumi chairman, we have the Nyumba Kumis, we have the village elders, we have the assistant chiefs who know within their own villages the people who are vulnerable. And the vulnerability here involved those who are critically ill, involved those who are disabled, and involved other categories of people who definitely cannot survive without this assistance. And we have not had any complaints of people who are receiving money yet they are not in the vulnerable category. We have a few of them out here today who are a cross-section of those benefiting, and when you look at them you realize that they are the really vulnerable people who are targeted using that very, very proper targeting process.
You've said how many individuals and how many households and how many individuals are benefiting from Mombasa West?
We have 1,070 individuals who are benefiting from the direct cash transfer, which is in the third week now. And for you to be able to know how many persons may be benefiting in the wider sense, that is a 1,070 times about 5 per every household.
And of course, you're giving that assurance that in Mombasa West there has not been those complaints so far that have been witnessed across the country. But let's go to the 8-point economic stimulus program plan, which the President outlined on Saturday, which you guys, the National Government Administrative Officers, are expected to implement here or to roll out on the ground. Very briefly, perhaps you can tell us how Mombasa West in particular is handling the 8-point economic agenda.
Basically, the 8-point economic agenda, as rolled out by the President, intends to inject funds into the hiring of about hiring about 1,000 ICT teachers and 10,000 teachers, besides acquisition of 250,000 locally assembled desks. That means that within the share of Madeira, the local artisans will be part and parcel of the production of the desks. And when the employment opportunities come along, it means that we will also have people from within who are qualified, who will also secure these jobs. And insofar, they'll get income, which will also be very, very instrumental insofar as cushioning themselves and the families they come from. But one thing which is also very clear and which is very, very important to us here, there is seed capital, about 3 billion seed capital for SMEs with the guaranteed scheme. This means that our people are basically agriculturalists. There's a lot of agricultural activity out here, and definitely they will be able to benefit from this fund because this is a fund which will be available for them to borrow money in so far as the activities are concerned, so that they are cautioned from the lack of economic activities which has been cautioned by the COVID, so they don't have the money. And with this type of money, they can be able to revamp their particular businesses. Alongside this, we can also talk about the 2 billion which is supposed to support the hotel industry, and definitely we have a few restaurants which will definitely benefit from this amount of money inside here.
Thank you, sir. Let's leave it at that for the purposes of this live broadcast. But of course, we are getting down to all the points as to how Madeira West is handling this particular issue. But Grace Jacob Ouma is the Deputy County Commissioner for Madeira West, of course, highlighting on how Madeira West is conducting these issues. Like I have said earlier, remember it is 360,000 individuals from Central Region. Those are 5 counties of Kiambu, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, and Nyandarua that are benefiting from this. And these individuals have dependents. And across the region, their dependents actually total up to about 900,000 people who are getting these funds of about 1,000 shillings weekly. So far, they have received their 4th tranche this week. And the government intends to sustain this even or until such a time when they will, or the economy will have gotten back to its feet, Grace, rather.
Indeed, Karanja, thank you so much for that update there. Okay, now the